It sounds like you were really like self-motivated though to be getting all these jobs and doing all these different things. Like where do you get that from?
I don't know. I think growing up, so I have a twin brother, and growing up we were very like, not compared in the way a lot of twins are compared, thankfully, because we're different genders, but he was always really naturally smart and like could just remember things and was very good. And I didn't have that quality at all, which I blame on, I was like diagnosed with insomnia in the 7th grade. So I have no like short-term memory at all. So I'm very like, I'm crazy about notes. I have notes on my phone. I have an extensive calendar because I won't remember anything. So it's all written down. So I think I got really good at studying. And then that kind of turned into, I was so good at studying because otherwise I wouldn't pass my classes, that I became a really good like student in life, like just every day. So I was just used to that. And also I'm a Virgo, like I said. So I think just notes are my thing.
Yeah,
but,
well, even outside of your skill set, just having a work ethic to do that amount of work, because I know a lot of people, like you were saying, like you're a very hardworking person, and you were graduating thinking like, oh wow, I haven't even touched lights before this. But some people, they're graduating and maybe they're saying that just because they haven't taken it upon themselves to like work on sets or do work. So like for you, like why were you so?
I don't know. I think I just had, I don't know, I've just always had that curiosity. I kind of grew up very introverted and timid, but I also kind of knew, I don't know, I just valued hard work for some reason. I guess I can attribute that to my parents probably, but I appreciate you saying that. I still feel like I try my best to live by that. I think I just don't do well when I'm not busy. Like if I don't have things to do, or if I'm not keeping myself busy, then I get down. I get really just sad, and then it spirals into all these other bad qualities, which I feel like a lot of people are probably that way. But
yeah, the people who are closest to me would probably say like, oh, Zane's always down because he has like too many things to work on. But it's like, if I have nothing to work on, I go crazy. So it's kind of like I have to like fill it.
I think a lot of people are that way too, but they may not recognize it. Like I've met several people who, like I have a lot of friends who are gamers, for example, and they kind of get down on themselves because they feel like they haven't accomplished anything, or they, they're just very depressed and they'll stay up all night and game and eat, and then they don't feel like they accomplished things. And I know that there's layers to that because you're addicted to gaming and stuff, but sometimes I feel like they fill their time with this thing because they don't know what else they should be doing. And I'm like, if you just tried something new and then tried to fill your day with these other things, you might be a personality who needs to be busy, and the reason you've been feeling so depressed is because you haven't been keeping yourself busy. Like sometimes you just have to create fake projects for yourself and pretend like they mean something. Like,
yeah, I think people need to feel like they've exerted themselves on a daily basis, maybe to like get rid of a little bit of anxiety, especially like considering like how we've, just evolved as a species,
Yeah, because like everything's made up.
Yeah, everything.
Everything's made up. Like we're living in a made up world. So kind of like create your own life for yourself. And if you're feeling, I know this is so much easier said than done. Some people are clinically depressed, and I don't mean to devalue that at all. But for me at least, it does, since I know that about myself now, that if I don't stack up these projects, whether they're real or made up to me, I will get very, very depressed. So
yeah, I think like, everybody has a ranging scale of how default depressing their life is, or how hard their circumstance is, so it's like life is always unfair, and there's always somebody who has it better or worse than you, but it's like no matter who you are, it comes back to the question of like, okay, well, this is your life that you're living through your two eyes, so like what are you gonna do about it, and it's like if you have a limit, like, oh, I can't exercise because of a physical thing that literally keeps me from doing it, okay, well, maybe not that, but what else? And then for the person who doesn't have that ailment, like maybe just go like exercise, and like try to feel better. So like there's always something. And I think what you're highlighting is like, especially with art, it's something you can like be really proud of, teach yourself new skills, and just kind of get better and better and better. Yeah,
because I think because it's all made up. Like I think I've recently in 2020 just been living in that mindset of like nothing matters. It's all made up anyway. So just do, people. I feel like I've always had people in my life, we'll see each other, we haven't seen each other in months or something. They'd be like, oh, you've been so busy. Like just because I've been posting whatever I've been working on social media. And in my mind, I'm like, all of it's made up. But thank you. Like I appreciate it so much that you think I'm so busy and I'm so accomplished. But I'm just, even if you're not an artist, I feel like if you're a person in business, or you work in engineering or whatever, like there's always some sort of project you can be creating or something you want to learn, or even if you're just working out for you, right, and you want to gain on your reps or whatever, like I think it's just important for people to be their own like parent or teacher.
Yeah, no, I think that's very important. That's the existential thing of becoming an adult, because no matter how good or bad your parents were, once you're an adult, or for some people earlier, you become your own parent, and then it's just like, okay, I'm still
a baby.
Yeah, like you got to give yourself a bedtime and not eat candy all the time like I've been doing.
I'm still a baby, so it's like you just have to parent yourself a little bit, and then
what? Your brain's not done growing till you're 27.
I'm not done growing. I'm just a baby.
Yeah, if you're under 27, your brain not done yet.
Yeah, but I just feel like I have so many adults in my life who constantly talk about how getting old is weird because they still feel like they're in their 20s, but their body is in their 40s or something. And I'm like, I think that's because everybody eternally feels
These people are worn down.
young.
You said they feel in their 40s?
No. They feel like they're in their 20s, but they are in their 40s. Oh,
they are literally. Okay.
Yeah, they are literally in their 40s, but they suddenly, like, it hits them like they're a full-grown adult. I'm like, I think it might be that way forever. And, like, anyone who... I don't know. I was going to say anyone who is 60 and relates to being 60 is crazy, but that's probably unfair. Sure, there are people who are 60 who feel 60, but...
Yeah, there was, I remember there was this movie where there was this older character, and he was saying, like, ever since he was 19, when he looks in the mirror, he sees a 19-year-old, and he's like, I just feel the fucking same. He's like, once I formed an identity, like, that was it. He's like, I'm the same guy. It's like, really existential.
Like, I know I'm going to learn more things, become wiser, but I still don't think I'm going to feel. I think I'm still going to... You just feel like yourself.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes you just feel like you relate to a certain age because that's when you felt the most you, or when you first realized you or something, Yeah.
I've been gaming a lot more since the summer because like I can be really bad at just giving myself free time and things that I enjoy. So like I really like Super Smash Bros. And I've been kind of like going crazy with it since like June or so. And like, yeah, sometimes you're sitting there playing for a while and you're like, I like just every like little win, you feel like a little burst of accomplishment because you're like, I did that, because it is like essentially sports, just, less physical activity, but it's like a skill set you're working on. And even that, like I sometimes can make myself think like, okay, I can't sleep in, spend too much time with friends, eat out, like do this because I like get too overly exerted in like work and productivity, and like that's not good for you either. You need to like throw in things that are enjoyable, or else like everything's gonna suck.
Yeah, no, that's true. You gotta have
I find the more that I relax, the more productive I am when I work, because otherwise I can go into these spells where every single time I'm like doing something for free time, I feel like bad about it.
Yeah.
And then when I'm working, I'm like clawing to procrastinate it because my body has not fulfilled its free time needs.
Right. Yeah. I do have I have this problem, and I had this in college. It was when I first recognized it, is if I have a day where I have like 17 things to get done, I will get all 17 done. Like I'll be so busy and I'll get 17 done. But if I have one thing to do that day, I will never do it. I won't do it. I need to be like I'm not like neurotic in the sense where I have like a full-blown schedule that I've written out for myself, even if like no one's counting on me. It's just like, oh, by 1 p.m. I don't have this done by 2. Like I don't have that, but I just know like if I feel like, okay, there's so many things to get done today, I'm gonna get them all done. If I have one, I'm like, I can whatever, and then it'll be like midnight and be like, well, guess I'm adding it to tomorrow. If I have the one thing, and then I'll just feel terrible. So if I like create things for myself,
I really like creating lists, and they always get ridiculously long. And the problem I run into is I'll create these lists with all these things on it, and I'll think like, okay, mathematically it's technically possible for me to do every single one of these things if I'm perfect and I never toe the line of like taking too long or slowing down or this or that. And then naturally I never finish any of my lists because I've made it too like I have to hit every single note or else I failed, So then I'm like failing all the time and then feeling bad about it, and then it gets harder and harder. So I've been trying to give myself a little bit less and just like be more realistic with myself. And I think as a result, like when I'm relaxing now, I feel happier, and when I'm productive, I feel like more excited to be productive because they feel like more separate worlds where I'm like just being realistic about them. But so I envy that you can put down 17 things and then do all 17.
I think it's just based on your personality. Like I'm not judging anyone who lives differently. That's just what happens to work for me, because some people thrive off of, they've got just those 2 things that they're going to do that day and it works really well for them, but my brain will just give me all of the time to relax or do whatever I want to do, and then